All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CAGcast number 798. I'm your host, GVD, here in Long Island, New York. And as always, we're joined by a man who's also about to announce he's raising prices, Wombat.
My prices are insane.
Dude, you know what's insane?
What's insane?
How thin your head is now.
That almost sounds like an insult.
It's not, but I just looked at your head when you looked up, and it's like 3/4 the size of the previous head, I would say. Would you say it's accurate?
Thank you. I don't know. Is it?
I mean, that's a compliment, I guess, but it's just like.
Have you measured your head lately?
I probably should. I don't know. I will say that in between this show and our last show, I did a full clean shave of my face, and I had no beard for I guess 4 days. Really, let's be honest. It kind of just pops right back out like
Right.
Homer Simpson, but it was the most downvoted thing that has ever happened in the history of my house. Was me shaving my face for one day.
Too thin. It was too thin.
It was. Everyone hated it. I look too weird. I don't look right with that. With my face looks weird. So I'll say we'll say too thin. That's the reason why.
Congratulations.
Everyone hated it. So I can't shave ever again.
Ever.
I got to go full ZZ Top to make everyone happy.
I see the light show is still happening in your backyard.
Yeah, that's gonna happen all.
The neighbors don't mind the light show?
The neighbors are.
The neighbors are close to that light show.
They can't see it. No, it's below the fence. No one sees it.
It's got to reflect.
No, not really.
They've got to know something's going on.
Yeah, no one. I will say this. Since we've done this last show, I actually do have brand new next door neighbors.
Oh.
Because of the lights?
Yes, because of the lights. No, the old people that live there, they sold the house, moved away, and now there's new people in the house. I think I spoke to them twice. So far, so good.
Oh.
They ripped up every bush and tree in the front yard already. Not mine, theirs. That would be funny. But yeah, I was like, oh, all right, new people. Nice to meet you.
They're probably putting something else in there, right?
We'll find out.
You may have to contact your local tree commissioner.
Exactly.
Alternate.
I don't think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very interesting stuff. That's the excitement of my life. You guys talk about things. I have nothing.
Nice.
I got nothing.
Mrs. Cheapy and I celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
While we were on break. That was part of one of the reasons why we didn't do a show 1 week. One of the many reasons. So that's a long time. And we stayed at this. I just did whatever Mrs. Cheapy said she wanted to do for the anniversary, which was
20 years.
Which was what?
Explains the 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I keep it simple, Plus, she has good ideas, and I have no ideas, so it's perfect. She wanted to stay at this fancy hotel in Manhattan, and they have a Japanese restaurant there that's supposed to be very good, and you can only eat there if you stay at the hotel. And the hotel is called the Aman Hotel. It's like some part of some Asian chain. They're trying to basically make like an Asian resort in the middle of the city. It's ridiculously expensive. It's crazy expensive, but I didn't have to pay a dime because of Amex points. When Mrs. Cheapy told me she told me specifically she wanted to stay there. And when I looked up the price of the room, like the cheapest room, I was like, I didn't know they went that high just for like a room that's not at like a resort somewhere. It's just at a hotel. But Amex has something with them where they points. So I didn't have to pay anything. But it's a super fancy, luxury hotel, but like everything went wrong. Like that could have gone like,
oh no,
comically, but nothing ruined our experience, but it was like laughably bad things. Like when we first got there, the room wasn't ready, even though it was like 3:00 in the afternoon. It was well over an hour we waited for the room to be ready, and it was like hot and everything, whatever. Was fair. And they offered us, free drinks and everything. They were very nice about it and all that stuff.
I was gonna say, I guarantee they offered you drinks.
They did eventually, right? Yeah. And they're very apologetic and very, everyone's very apologetic and people coming over to whatever. But at the end of the day, the drinks were not comped. Nothing was comped. The room was like 2 hours late. The room at one point Mrs. Chibi's like, what's that sound? So I got to turn that off. She's like, what's that sound? She's like, you leave the shower running? And I'm like, no, everything. I didn't even turn it on. The sprinkler, like the fire sprinkler in the ceiling, is just water just coming out. Like, easily our luggage could have been there and just been, just soaked. At least it was just water and not like, duty water. What else?
Did you call down and say, hey, there's a leak?
Oh yeah, they fixed it. Of course, while we were at dinner, they fixed it. The dinner was just like sort of okay. Like, we've eaten at a lot of good Japanese restaurants, and this is just like another
good Japanese restaurant.
Yeah, but nothing like fancy. Nothing like special about it, in my opinion. The person we were dealing with told they have like a famous jazz club downstairs. And the person who was helping us while our shit was getting fucked up, they gave us a tour while we were waiting for the room to be ready. And that guy was like super nice the guy was from Long Island, super nice. Told us he was going to make us a reservation at the jazz club. We go down to the jazz club, no reservation for us. I mean, they had a space for us because it was like Wednesday night, but. Again, just like another thing that didn't ruin anything, but it's just like, that's, okay. Yeah, I mean, when I was checking out, when we were leaving, I was in the hotel, I was in the elevator by myself and another guy who was also had his luggage. And it was just me and him in the elevator. And he turns to me and he goes, well, what'd you think? And I it was too slow answering. And he goes, oh, you too. And I was like, yeah. He's like, and the guy goes to tell me, he's like, I've traveled all over, stayed at like the nicest places, or just like nice. He didn't say the nicest places. He wasn't like a snobby about it. He was just like, I've stayed at a lot of nice places, like in Asia especially, and all over. And he's like, this place is just not like up for it yet. They're just not. I think they only opened like 6 months ago or something. Anyway, we still had a great time. We had a view of Fifth Avenue and 57th Street. And so like a view of Trump Tower directly out of the hotel, of our hotel room window. There was a guy dressed up as Donald Trump with suit, like rubber face mask. It was so hot and disgusting out. He was not standing on the sidewalk, but standing in the middle of the street, directing traffic, but as Donald Trump. So he would point at a taxi cab and give him the thumbs up and pull this way and that way, point at people walking by. But he's not like a police guy directing traffic. He's just a guy, and there's fucking buses going by, like he's in danger of causing an accident or being run over. And he's just trying to get people to take pictures with him for money.
Yes.
Right? Because Trump Tower is right there. Tourists are coming by. They want to get their picture taken in front of Trump Tower. I was spending time watching this guy try to the tourists would take a picture with him. They would give him money. You see, it wasn't enough money. He was trying to get more money, and they didn't want to give him any more money, and he'd get frustrated, move on to the next guy, go walk in traffic again. It was very interesting to watch. And also interesting to watch, there's always two police right in front of Trump Tower. Just two guys, just in case anything goes down. But they're mostly there just to take pictures with the tourists. But in a lot of cases, the tourists, I would never have the balls to do this. The tourists hand the camera to the cop. And it's just the tourist standing in front of Trump Tower. And the cop is now taking the picture of the two tourists. And there's no cops in the picture. That I feel, I don't know, man. That I was just like, oh my God, what's going on? These cops are now just taking photos? They're supposed to be guarding this building. Anyway, we had a good time. I got laid, of course. And I'm trying to think. I think there was one other weird thing that happened, but it was fine. It was all good. We also, to celebrate our 30th anniversary on that Saturday.
30th? Wow.
I mean, 20th. We were been together for, no, that's only 24. We went to see John Summit at Madison Square Garden. He's a famous DJ, super famous DJ producer. You guys don't know who he is.
He pushed a button.
He didn't push. He did push a lot of buttons that night.
More than one button.
He
He
writes.
had to push start and stop. So at least 2.
The guys who make the best living doing this are the guys that write and produce their own songs, because then they can tour and play their own songs. People want to, especially if the songs become hits. It makes sense, right?
What's his hit?
He has so many. He has a lot. His last on the last 2. No. The last 2 Obama's favorite songs lists of the last 2 years in a row. One of his songs was on the list.
You can't name it though.
I can name it. It's not. You're not going to know Shiver. This is like one of his newer ones. He's got a lot. Human.
Off. Have you ever heard Shake It Off? That's one of his.
No.
I was going to say Shiver. That's awfully close to a Taylor Swift song.
It's not a Taylor Swift song, and doesn't sound like a Taylor Swift song. They're like tech house songs. It's not your type of music. Whatever. It was a great show. He sold out the show in an hour. And I actually got like secondhand seats because I thought that I might be too old to go. Very interesting to see, like when I was dating Mrs. Chibi, we used to go to shows like this, and the only way you could see DJs like this was to go to a club, like a small club in New York City where you wait online outside for like an hour, and shitty people are like shooting heroin in the bathroom or fucking or both, like. And to come now, 2024. You go to Madison Square Garden, there's families there. There's people are actually just urinating in the bathroom. They're not, it's not scary. You're not in the bathroom going like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm so incredibly high right now, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to handle being in the bathroom right now. It was cool to see. It was cool to see that this stuff has become mainstream and comfortable. Like it was a very comfortable experience. And that's what we've been up to. I'd recommend it. He should come back. Billy Joel has just ended his Madison Square Garden run, Wombat, and I think John Summit should come take over. No.
I haven't been to a concert in such a long time. I am going to a concert in October. That's going to be my next concert.
Which one is that?
I'm going to see Toad the Wet Sprocket and the Bare Naked Ladies.
Where's that?
Live at the Tillis Center.
So
I don't have to travel far, and I don't have to worry about parking.
Right.
It's pretty much the
only
way.
Or being too old.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the show for old Jews, is what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect for me. It's got all the things I want.
There were a lot of young people there. And, there were some olds at the John Summit show, but it was mostly young people. But
did Bare Naked Ladies, did they reunite? Like they got into a falling out?
No, Stephen Page is still not in the band.
So it's only one.
He's dressed.
Yeah, it's just, but it is everybody else. Yeah, Ed and the rest.
Just not the guy that like sang half their hits.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
So do they only play half their hits?
They only play half their. I think Ed kind of sings everything. We did see them once without Stephen Page already, and it was good. It's not the same. I mean, we saw them a lot when they were together. Speaking of back when dating 20 years ago, because it's my 20th in September. So yeah, we used to. Bare Naked Ladies is my wife's favorite band, so we saw them a lot back in the day.
They're not going to have probably the same laser light show and pyrotechnics that John Summit had.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. But that's okay.
Yeah, he said he lost $1 million during the show.
Did he look under the couch cushions?
That was before the show actually happened, I think. I don't know. It's promotion for his album, I guess. Anyway, what else is going on? Oh, I know Ship went away.
Yeah, we did a road trip down to Colonial, Williamsburg in Virginia.
I've done that.
You drove there. That's a long drive.
We did drive there. We got we did it in two stints.
Okay.
Like we stopped in Charlottesville. That's a place, right?
Mm-hmm.
We stopped in Charlottesville on the way down and went to we walked around University of Virginia while we were there, and then went to King's Dominion, which is an amusement park based upon the one in Cincinnati. Essentially, it's made by the same people, just a few years later.
There.
Yes. So that was all right. And then we stayed in an old house in Colonial Williamsburg, one of the ones right there in Colonial Williamsburg, I guess.
You can do that. That's a thing.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like they're all like.
Do you have to work there when you do that? Like if somebody comes by and knocks on your door, you have to pretend.
Did you churn any butter?
Of course. We did not churn any butter. We painted some wheelbarrows. Wheelbarrows? Barrows?
Wheelbarrow.
Barrow. We did some of that. We the kids like inspected some tobacco plants to make sure those were good.
Nice.
All the fun Colonial Williamsburg stuff to do when it's
Did you do that
98
thing with
degrees out.
Did you do the thing where you died and melted?
Yeah. The thing with the hoop and the stick where
we passed on that because it was 98 degrees out.
And I think you did it at Old Bethpage on Long Island.
Yeah, we've done it. We've seen it many times. And
we got a good circle and stick here, you know.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. The kids decided that they didn't need to do that right then. But no, it was a good time. And then
those kids will never be anything in life now. Now you know.
Right. And we did make it most of the way down without a kid puking, which was pretty good.
That's pretty impressive.
We got about an hour out, and then yes, the dam broke.
Oh, in the car?
Yeah, in the car.
Oh, it's from the car? From like the car travel?
Yeah. It's too much iPad and Switch and trying to do that for like 8 hours. And then like, I don't know if you know this, but there's not a straight road in West Virginia.
I don't know that.
Okay. So they can't make any road straight in West Virginia because of all the mountains. Like
sure.
When are they going to get
up,
rid
down,
of this,
left, right?
all of these DEI politics in West Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
And get some straight roads.
Wah, wah.
So no, it was a good time. We went to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. That's a fantastic amusement park. There's a ride there, and I sent Cheapy. I know you watched the video of this. It's formerly called Intimidator 305, based upon Dale Earnhardt Jr. It was all Dale Earnhardt Jr. themed, and it's been that for like 20 years. But then apparently, I think they lost the license. Like the family didn't want to like deal with the license or something. I don't know. They lost the license. So now it's just called Project 305. And it's so weird because this is like the biggest coaster in this place. And there's like no merchandise that you can buy for it. Like there's no t-shirts.
Right.
Everything is just like completely ignoring this thing because they lost the licensing rights and they probably weren't planning for it.
But why not just print up some Project 305 t-shirts?
I don't know. It's a great question.
Time.
So I've ridden a lot of roller coasters in my time, and this one, like, there's signs that are like up there's like this extremely high G's, like make sure that you are healthy and like don't have any like heart conditions or anything.
But
like,
you see that a lot, I guess, don't you?
You see that a lot. But this was like the only sign. Like it was like really big, like as you're getting on, which at that point you're like, all right, I'm getting on. He was. So we both like you go down this hill and you're going 95 miles an hour, right? Down this hill. That's 305 feet high. That's the name. And then whoever designed this decided that immediately at the bottom of the hill, you should take a sharp right and continue turning right for like basically a clover leaf, right? Like, so you're going like 270 degrees in a tight turn at 95 miles. Yes, very fast. And so that's the part where you start to either gray out or black out because there are too many G's. And that is the first time that has ever happened to me on a roller coaster. And
wow.
I will say you get a little nervous when all of a sudden your vision starts going and you're like, my peripheral vision is just like gone and everything's like purplish.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't want to like scare my daughter or anything because she was riding with me. Like my wife wouldn't ride it.
She noped out of that one.
She noped out of it.
Wait, your daughter went with you, but not your wife?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did she like
really into roller coasters? She has like no
didn't
fear.
go though.
He's not tall enough for it.
Not tall. No tall. I could have told you that.
Yeah. But like we got off of it. And I'm like,
tall.
How'd you like it? She's like, I liked it all right. But there was like this weird part of it, like where everything turned purple. And I'm like, yes, it's not because I'm old. It's just because
there's a weird part where I forgot my birthday.
That's by design.
Right. Well, it's not it's sort of by design because I had to look it up, right? Like I'm like, is this happening to everybody? And like, yeah, they're like, it's all over the place. And the first year it was even worse because it had an even tighter turn. And so they like everybody was just like blacking out like around the first turn and they had to fix it. It's just like, what? Did we not think this through? Like you drop people down at 100 miles an hour and then immediately go right. Like, but it was a good time. And then on the way back, we stopped in Roanoke, Virginia.
Yeah.
And they have a Roanoke pinball, I don't know, I'm going to say the Hall of Fame museum, something. Roanoke, as well as an arcade too, in the same building. And so it's just like you pay and then you play for as long as you want. And there's like, I would say there's probably like 80 to 100 pinball tables in a room.
That's a lot.
It was solid. Yes.
Did you pass out in there too?
I did not pass out in there. I did introduce my daughter to Dance Dance Revolution in the arcade though, and got a little sweaty.
Nice.
Playing some Dance Dance Revolution and Guitar Hero, the arcade version. But it's good. Good trip. No puking on the way back. That was good.
Nice. Yeah, they were strengthened by the roller coasters, probably.
Right.
I don't know. I did that. What's the one? The ship ride, the pirate ship that goes back and forth. Pirate ship,
right?
Pirate ship.
Yeah, I almost
ship.
vomited the last time I did that, and I felt so shitty afterwards.
What this
at Adventureland?
It's got to be about 3. That's gone now, by the way. A few years ago at Adventureland, I'm there with Elliot, and we were like there at the end, and we're on the pirate ship, and there was no line, so the guy just wasn't paying attention. So he just didn't turn it off, and we were on it for like 10 minutes. I'm not making this up.
I would have passed out for sure.
And the thing is, it wasn't even so much the ride as much as it was the woman sitting across from us that wouldn't stop screaming as loud as possible.
That's what you're supposed to do in that ride.
Oh, it was like,
Did you not do that?
Minutes.
Were you not screaming? Were you just like, just no joy whatsoever on the Viking ship?
No,
just like.
It was fun at first. It was fun for the first couple of minutes.
Viking ship, yeah.
But after the first, like after 5 minutes, it's when you're starting like
you weren't pulling out the taste.
Unusual.
The taste great, less filling.
I felt sick on that one too. Maybe that's why they got rid of it. It wasn't set up right, and they just like fuck it.
It just gave us a headache. We had such a headache when we got off.
Exactly. I had to lie down. I lied down on the bench after.
So that was it. But yeah, it's gone
somebody
now.
just got stabbed there.
Yes, I know. Yes. Oh my. Yes, I saw someone just got stabbed there. I sent you the article.
Yeah.
It was like 2 people that knew each other. It wasn't like some random stabbing.
That's usually what it is.
Yeah, but but you read the comments on local Facebook groups, and
that's because some of that probably is because of there's been like fights planned at amusement parks, like
whatever that means.
Meet me
like
at the amusement park.
There was a day where it was like down at Busch Gardens, Tampa, is recently, like just a whole bunch of people organized and said we're going to go to Busch Gardens, Tampa, and we're going to fight, and they did that.
Like 2 different groups, or like a Royal Rumble.
Like I just a bunch of teenagers apparently is what it looked like.
Like meet at the go-karts and we'll throw down.
So
shit.
No place is safe.
I guess.
But they weren't fighting. They were just fighting each other, right? They weren't fighting the patrons of the place.
I guess not.
Maybe they warmed up on the patrons. I don't know. I don't think I'm going back to Adventureland, regardless of the stabbings. Like,
no, my son's going on Friday.
It's kind of so. What they replace the Viking ship with?
I'll ask him when he gets back on from going there on Friday. I don't know. I'm not going with him.
A knife store.
Yeah.
Kevlar vests.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it for our grand intro?
I think so.
Should we hype up LI Retro, which is coming up soon?
It is. What are the dates?
I don't know.
Oh
no, it's in August 11th or something. Let me see. I'll tell you right now. I know how to work a calendar. It's August 10th and 11th.
Okay.
Which is coming up. I don't know.
It's a month out?
Yeah. I don't know exactly what date that we're going to be on, but one of those days. And I'm looking at the list of other people that are coming. Tim Rogers is coming.
Cool.
Do you remember Tim Rogers?
Remember Tim Rogers?
He's wearing a tuxedo in his picture.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun. All right, it should be fun. Chip's
Always a
coming.
good time. Yeah.
We're gonna.
I'll be there.
Wombat will be there. Half the new Wombat will be there.
Hmm.
Remember when you changed your Twitter name to New Wombat?
I did. It was all coming down to this.
You knew this was going to happen. You knew you were going to join Orange Theory. You knew there was going to be some weight loss drug.
I may hit 100 classes by then too. So we'll see.
Shit, let's go right into the show feedback, and you should go right to that Orange Theory feedback.
Okay, we'll go right to Foxhound. Adam has to say, I also I appreciate the weekly Orange Theory updates. I joined with my entire family a year ago, and I feel better than I have in years and ran my fastest mile in over 10 years. Cheapy was the one that got me interested a few years back. It's awesome to see Wombat getting into it and seeing great progress. Appreciate you all. Yep, still going.
I took Ty with me to a class this week. They have a promotion now that you can bring any friend or family member for 6 classes for free this month.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, anybody can do that if you're a member there. So I took him, and he did pretty good. I was surprised. Like, he was pulling over 200 watts on the rower, and his form wasn't that great. Like, I was on the rower next to him, annoying him with like form correction, but I thought that was like really good for somebody who doesn't have much rowing experience. And he was a little unsteady on the treadmill, having never been on a treadmill before. But he didn't run much less distance than I did, so he hung in there. But yeah, so that was cool. That was a lot of fun. Let's skip this other show feedback. It sucks.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's go right to Watch This, Jerks.
Sounds good.
Just very quickly before we get to the main meat hot movie of the week, me and Mr. Chibi watched Across the Spider-Verse, the second one, or is that the name of the? I don't know.
Yeah. Into the Spider-Verse? No. Yeah, Across the Spider-Verse.
Continuing the Spider-Verse.
Something Spider-Verse.
It was good. It didn't seem long. We really liked it, even though I was initially afraid to watch it because I thought it was going to be long and boring. But
why?
I don't know.
Did you not like the first one?
You know what? I think I forgot how unique the visual style was, and as soon as I started watching this one, I was like, oh shit, this is, who even cares what they're saying, to be honest. Right. But it was, I'm not insulting the script or anything. It's just like, it's really interesting and unique to look at. That's almost enough. And then it is interesting. And then it ends. Then it ends in nothing. Yeah, that was the kind of, but you warned me that was going to happen. So I was prepared.
But it's still a little bit surprising just how,
I was waiting for
it. No real release date for the third one, is there? Right? They keep moving it around. It was supposed to be December, but now I know it's not now. So
I'll watch it when it comes out. I don't need to know when at some point when it's going to hit.
It was real good. I liked the music, I liked the look, and it was cool to see the different spider people I never heard of before. Wombat, we both watched Beverly Hills Cop. Axel F.
Yes, we did. Axel F. And I'm assuming you gave it an F?
You know what? I got to say, I made it through the whole movie, which I did not expect to happen. Maybe I mean,
it's not offensive in the sense that it's not like, oh my God, this is so bad, I have to turn it off. But no, it's not good.
Almost. It's right there.
Oh my goodness. If you want to see a movie, if you're into puffy-faced actors from Too Much Plastic Surgery, have I got the movie for you? Men, women, children, I don't know. Everyone in this movie suffers from puffy face.
You're talking about Judge Reinhold?
Oh my God.
Did you saw the picture the cropped mouth that I sent you? In the messages, that was his mouth. It's so just his mouth is so distracting to look at.
His face, him and Nassim Pedrad, who is the real estate agent, the female real estate agent who was on Saturday Night Live.
Right.
She also doesn't even look like the same person.
Okay. She looked familiar. She looked familiar. I didn't know who she was.
It's so weird. And there's a couple of other people too. It's not just the two of them. And it's not just men and it's not just women. It's like this equal opportunity weird plastic surgeon that must have had a retainer on this film.
Well, it does take place in Beverly Hills, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just
so like you can't be upset that that's happening in a movie that's taking place in Beverly Hills.
I know it's almost like ironic because I don't think they were going for that on purpose, but it also works for that very reason.
Did you laugh at any point during the movie?
Maybe
out loud.
I'm gonna go with a maybe. I don't think so, but
how many jokes did you see coming before they came out of the guys' mouths?
Everything is pretty, well said. I will say I like the daughter. I thought did a decent job.
Sure.
I didn't hate that character. It's nice to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt working. I like him.
Did he? Oh wait, did he get? He didn't get canceled, did he? No. So what's wrong with? How come he hasn't been doing anything? He has been, or you just said that? I don't know.
I haven't seen him in anything in a while. I don't know.
He was fine in this. He was he's working.
Exactly. You worked.
This was like a really lazy ass movie. Like there's just like they didn't feel the need to put in many jokes. Like literally, I sent these guys the videos. No, I posted on Twitter. You can see like the cameramen at certain points in the movie, like just didn't make much effort to get them out of the frame, just like walking through the fucking shot. You should look at my Twitter later, Ship, you'll laugh. There's one scene where Eddie Murphy is driving on like Rodeo Drive. He's driving like a fucking shitty ass Ford Bronco. Get it? Like turns a corner and the way the car turns, it's like the car had like four wheels that could turn in the same direction at once. Like clearly the car is just sitting on the top of a fucking platform and being towed around or something. Or the guy filmed it in some crazy fucking way that just blows your mind. It's just, I rewound those sections. I rewound like 3 times just to watch them over and over again. And Judge Reinhold's mouth. Like those were the 3 most compelling parts of the movie. Other than that, it's pretty pointless.
Well, I mentioned this to you earlier, but the director of this movie,
yes,
has never directed another movie in his entire life.
Went out like.
I don't know.
Like, how does that happen? Like,
I don't know. Like,
I have a theory.
I'm serious too. I mean, this guy. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm not. I don't know.
Are you sure about that?
I'm not sure.
Like, don't just put that out there.
You don't know anything about him. He could be the next Dr. Disrespect.
I don't know. I don't.
I have a theory. You're a Hollywood guy. You've been connected. You've been in the business before. How about this theory? Eddie Murphy got paid an ungodly amount of money to be in this movie. Yes. Whatever, 50 million. I don't know. Like, how much could you get paid to be in a movie like this? What do you think, Wombat? How much do you think? 30,
sure
50?
I don't know if he got 30 or 50 million.
That's too much. That's too much.
Way too much.
It's the number one movie on Netflix.
I mean, I would probably put it more in the 5 to 10 range. To be
really, that doesn't seem like very much.
America, like a number one movie?
Yeah. He probably has like a multi-picture deal with them. That's like an Adam Sandler type level ridiculous deal.
Right. We're gonna get another 48 hours.
Eddie Murphy probably doesn't want any director really like telling him what to do during making a movie like this because he's just like, I mean, I don't know Eddie Murphy, but it's probably just collecting a paycheck to him. But he probably doesn't want like somebody telling him to do this again or do it this way, do it that way at this point in his career. So they get a young guy who's never made a movie before, who doesn't really feel the need that he has to do that, right? He can just be the guy who listens to what Eddie says and does that and forget to how to film a car turning and how to get the camera guys out of the shot. I mean, that's the minimum, and he didn't even get that done. So that's kind of a fail there, I would say.
I mean, he hasn't worked in Jesus, really. I can't believe it's been 21 years. In 21 years, but I mean, Martin Brest is still alive. I know that his fall was pretty hard, but
he the director?
He was the director of the original Beverly Hills Cop. He directed Going in Style, which he was nominated for an Academy Award for. Then it was Beverly Hills Cop. Then there was Midnight Run. Scent of a Woman. That's a 3-movie run, by the way. That's pretty good. Beverly Hills Cop, Midnight Run, Scent of a Woman.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Then he did Meet Joe Black, which is
right. That bombed. That's more than that got made fun of.
And then after that, he directed Geely.
Yeah, that
and
made
he hasn't
fun of
worked
also.
Since. And he hasn't worked since Geely. That's 2003. So I mean,
Does he know how to
maybe-
film a car in motion?
That's what I mean. It's like, I wonder if they even approached him and were like, "Hey, I know it's been a long time."
They just wanted
But
probably a kid who's not going to tell Eddie to do something. You know, just like Eddie will say, "Oh, I do this or whatever," and just go, "Great, cut, great job, next scene." That's my theory.
Yeah.
Anyway, the movie sucked. It was crap. I
don't
wasted
even
2
know who
hours
directed
watching
this.
it.
He directed the second Beverly Hills Cop.
It's a lot of shooting. You can watch him murder a lot of people.
Yes, there's a lot of like it does. It leans into trying to be kind of an '80s throwback.
The best part is like the plot is Eddie Murphy has an estranged daughter who doesn't like him because he was not in her life, whatever, you know, the same old shit that you've seen in a billion movies. They basically bond over shooting people together. Earlier in the movie, you learn that she's had learned how to use a gun at some point, and you know, of course, the movie's going to finish with them killing baddies together. And of course it does. Great.
Yep.
Not one surprise will be seen or had watching this movie, except when you see the camera operators in the background. That'll be surprising.
And Tony Scott directed the second Beverly Hills Cop movie.
Tony Scott, Crimson Tide.
Yes.
Go Bama, Roll Tide.
He also directed The Gray.
Gettysburg.
Also a fairly decent
All right.
Career. Not directing anybody. Director of Top Gun.
Good. I just sighed because I looked at these lists of movies that you watched. Well, I want to hear about the Gene Wilder documentary.
I watched the Gene Wilder documentary that's on Netflix, and it's very interesting. It's very good.
Is that the one where the clip comes where he's talking about why his demand to be in Willy Wonka to do the scene where he falls?
Yeah,
That's from that. Okay, I've seen that on Instagram about 1 billion times.
Yes, that's from that. It's what makes it interesting is he wrote an autobiography, and he recorded the audiobook for that autobiography, but obviously before he died. But they used that audio from his own audiobook as the narration for the documentary.
Awesome.
So it's a documentary in the first person about someone that's passed away. There was some controversy because people thought they used AI for it.
Right.
But they didn't. It's him. It's his recording from before he died. And he tells, about everything.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting and it's very sweet. And, it's he seemed to really love what he did and people. And, he led a very interesting life and all the lights just went on. And
yeah. I like the story that he told about how in the scene in Willy Wonka, when he yells at Charlie and Grandpa for stealing the fizzy lifting drink and all that shit, that he didn't rehearse it that way with him. That he told first he went to the sound guy and he's like, "I'm going to be really loud. So be prepared with a mic because I don't want to do this twice. So it's good. I'm going to yell." Then they did the scene and he just fucking goes off, as you know from the movie. And so actually, startled the actors and, got that great performance. Good day, sir. Right?
Oh, and Alexa, turn off all the lights.
Good day, lights.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, he talks about. I mean,
I'll check that out.
It's worth your time. I won't go into it too much if you're gonna watch it.
Yeah. Cool.
I also watched the Steven Van Zandt documentary on Max. He, for those who don't know, is the guitarist for the E Street Band, as well as Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes, and he's a songwriter himself and very political. And he was also on The Sopranos.
Is that Little Stevie? Is that the same person?
Little Steven, yeah. Little
Steven. Is that the character from Sopranos, or is that his nickname?
That's his nickname. But yes, that's not the character he played on.
Got
it. Yes. He was also on The Sopranos for that whole show's run and his whole life, and just basically he's been all over the. He's been in and around everything for the last 50 years.
It's a lot.
And it's very interesting. And it's also, what he did with South Africa and how he helped end apartheid and all of that.
Shit.
Yeah.
Is he South African?
He's not. He's from New Jersey.
Oh, yeah. So that's weird. He just,
good
for him. He's just a good guy.
he's just a good guy,
Wow.
and there was a something he knew he could help, and like, and it's like they show him when he finally meets with Nelson Mandela, and Nelson Mandela thanking him for helping to end apartheid. It's
Pretty great.
yeah, it's really cool. It's really, it's really long. It's really long. He's done a lot of crap in his life, but it is incredibly interesting because I really didn't know much about him at all before watching it.
Nice.
And I
Now
learned a
you know
lot.
everything.
And now I know everything. I actually listened to one of my presets in the car is these Little Steven's Underground Garage, the radio station on Sirius XM, and I figured that would just be something they would mention in passing for like 5 minutes, like, oh yeah, and he has his silly, there's a radio station with his name on it. They spend like 25 minutes talking about the radio
The
station.
hell?
I know. I'm like,
So weird.
oh,
What is this? What service is this on?
this is on Max. It's definitely worth it. I would say you don't, obviously it's a documentary. You don't have to watch it all in one clip. But if you start it, I think you might actually get into it because he's just a very interesting person. It's not even so much about the music or the politics as much as it is all of it, and the acting and the radio station and the writing, and he's all of it. It's very interesting.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. That's it for me.
Mm.
Well, until we hit TV.
I went to the theaters.
What'd you see?
I saw Inside Out 2.
Wow.
You still have theaters?
They still have theaters here.
Yeah. Ty goes.
Yeah. We actually went because one of Dash's friends was having a birthday party at the theater. So he was going to see it. And so then we all went because one kid can't see it without the other kid seeing it. Right.
Wait, so you all crashed the party or?
They don't rent out the entire theater. Like they have there's a party room that they go to like before and after.
Okay.
But like they just like have the seats that are all in a row where they're at. And we're like, we set up away from them and act like we didn't know who he was.
Nice.
And so it was good. Inside Out 2 is good. And it is good in a sense too that it doesn't do that Pixar thing where it's trying to get tears out of you. Like it's not like
good
purposefully trying to get that emotion out of you, but it
does anyway.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, good.
It just is a good movie that has likable characters, that is a good sequel about puberty, right? Like Riley getting to puberty and having new emotions. So
it's made all the money. I think it's the highest grossing film of the year so far.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Like it's good.
Does
People
it talk
like
about
the first one?
Does it talk about the hair in funny places?
It does not get into that.
No. Okay.
So is it like Turning Red but profitable?
Yes. It is very much that, but not. It's not like, I don't know. It takes a much like more, I don't know, adult approach than Turning Red did to the situation, and it's I don't know. I would say it's more, I don't know. It's meant to make money. Where Turning Red, I don't know that was completely meant to make money, right? Like Disney's had a problem here, and they're like, no, we got to figure out how to make money again on these films.
Don't mention periods or pubic hair.
Right. Like it tackles it in a way that it doesn't have anything to do with that side of puberty. It's more around the new emotions. And,
right.
So
why do I hate my parents now? Why do I have this feeling of
a little bit of that, but it doesn't go like it.
Right. Just a taste of it.
Just a taste of it. Yeah.
I don't got to beat you over the head with it. That's good.
No. So it's a fun little film. It's well animated. Yeah, it's a good sequel, and now we're gonna get a lot of Pixar sequels because that's what everybody wants, anyways.
Yeah,
so
definitely. I mean, just look at fucking Beverly Hills Cop, #1.
I'm going to see Deadpool, Wolverine. I got those tickets already.
Nice.
So I'm part of the problem.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem. It's not a problem,
fine, right?
Right.
It's not supposed to be good or something.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be good, and you're going to like the characters.
I hope it's good and fun. Yeah, I'm hoping that I enjoy it.
everything doesn't have to be fine cinema. It just has to be enjoyable, like versions of characters and IPs that you like, right?
Yeah,
Deadpool 1 and 2 were my son's 2 favorite movies.
They're funny.
So
they're funny and they're pretty good.
So that's why I could not get tickets for that one.
No cameramen in those shots. In those movies.
Cameramen. No, these movies will probably be meticulously crafted. Yeah,
they check when they make.
I think we're gonna start getting the good movies again though. Now, like we're through the big pandemic.
The strike's over.
We're past the strike. We're still working through what the
AI is just getting started.
AI is just getting started.
Certain actors and producers know to put in their contract that their movie can't be burned for tax purposes.
Right.
People learn that.
They had to learn that one the hard way. Yep. Just ask Brendan Fraser.
What was he in?
That girl.
I forgot that was even a thing.
That
can't be good though.
It can't be good.
Could it?
I don't know. It wasn't even supposed to come out in theaters. It was supposed to be direct or even John Cena now knows that because of his Acme movie.
That's the one that
people
that movie
actually
that would have made money.
Supposed to be very good. Everyone who saw it said how great it was, and then they just were like, "Yeah, nope. We need to save money on taxes, so your movie's going in the garbage can."
Right.
Yeah.
On the TV side, Mrs. Chibi and I watched the entire season of Owning Manhattan, which is the new Netflix reality show about the Sirhan Real Estate Company, which is like a high-end luxury residential firm buying and selling fancy Manhattan apartments. It's got really good drone shots of Manhattan, like artistic looking, like sunsets and stuff. So if you like those types of shows with like a little drama thrown in between the agents, because most of the agents are like pretty annoying as you would expect. I gotta say, for these types of shows, Mrs. Chibi doesn't watch these, and she's stuck in there for the whole fucking season. So that says something about the quality of this one. Or she likes to look at fancy apartments.
Gotcha. I watched, speaking of binging, my daughter recommended Smiling Friends to me.
Okay.
What is that?
And it's a cartoon.
It's the current Rick and Morty
It's the current Rick and Morty. That's basically what it is. It's less Rick and Morty, probably a little more like Tim and Eric-y. Like if Rick and Morty and Tim and Eric were made a show, you'd probably wind up with Smiling Friends. Mike from Red Letter Media does a voice in one of the episodes.
Oh.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait till they talk about Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh my, they're gonna hate it.
That's gonna be amazing.
I watched both. Each episode's 11 minutes long, so it's not like it was so much. But I did watch all 2 seasons, so I'm caught up on Smiling Friends. So I recommend it to maybe Chibi.
I'm not gonna watch that. Come on.
I don't know.
I don't really watch. I don't know. Is it really good?
It's good. It's funny. It might be your kind of humor. I would say you have to give it. I mean, like I said, each episode's only like 11 minutes. It's on Max.
I have Max.
I know. So give it like a good 3 episode try.
Okay.
And that's sort of where it clicked for me, was like after the 3rd episode.
They're short, right?
Yeah, I said they're 11 minutes each.
Oh, really short?
Yeah.
I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
They're going for that bluey sweet spot.
Yeah, 11 minutes each, no commercials.
Mrs. Chibi could even tap in on this one, because sometimes we're looking for that short content, short form content.
Some of it's, where sometimes it's weird, sometimes it's a little violent for violence sake, sometimes it's just interesting.
Right.
So, yeah.
Cool. There's new releases, but I don't know that there's any that we need to talk about.
There aren't.
It's like The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak is getting good reviews, but that's a Japanese RPG that neither of you have interest in, and
no,
I only have passing interest in because I've played a lot of the old Legend of Heroes games, but none of the Trails games. But it's getting good reviews.
Okay.
So there's that.
These Switch games are as hilarious as ever. By the way, I cut and pasted this Switch list into ChatGPT and said, "Oh, just make up some fake games and insert them into this list in alphabetical order." And it did it, and I just couldn't find them. There was no way.
You couldn't find it.
It was just like, it did such a good job. I looked at the list like 5 times, and eventually I found them, but it's like, we're not going to play that game because it didn't make any clever, funny ones.
Gotcha.
Let's go to Wombat's Fortnightly News because that's where the action is. There's a lot of big stories.
Well, they added a new mode to Fortnite.
That's not one of them.
Fortnite Reload? You're not into Fortnite Reload?
Oh, I don't know that I'm into it or not. I don't. Is it a big deal in the Fortnite universe? I don't feel like it is. Oh, it is.
A big deal. Okay. It's a big deal in the Fortnite universe because the player count had been dropping. And when this came out, the player count basically went right back up to where it used to be, basically in a day, which was kind of crazy.
Why?
Well, it's because of this, and they toned down the vehicles.
They toned down the vehicles, and then they changed rank, and then they took vehicles out of ranked.
Wait. How did they tone down the vehicles? What does that mean?
They just
they explode quicker?
No, well, I mean, yeah, they explode quicker. They just make it so that it's not the only way to win in this season. So now it's like it's really inconsequential. You could either do a vehicle thing or not. Like, there might be a slight
They're just
advantage.
Not as powerful anymore?
It's not as powerful anymore.
All right.
You can take them down with normal weapons.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, and the player count has kind of leveled back down also. I should say the player count in Reload is not where it was when it launched anymore, but it's still higher than it was before Reload existed, which I think is obviously what they were going for. Because at one point they were down, like you'd turn it on, they'd be like, again, any game would kill for these numbers. If you look at the NPD numbers or whatever it's called now.
Of course.
Fortnite was still the most played game on PlayStation and Xbox last month. But they were down to like 300,000 concurrent players on a weekday evening, which is low. And then they shot back up to like 6, 7. I think they were even like at 1 million at one point again. But now they've kind of leveled down to like the 5, 6 range. So higher than it was.
Sure.
Not as high as it's been. But, still, it's a lot of.
So Cheeky, Reload is kind of like a combination of the Battle Royale and the team deathmatch type of thing.
It's
it's called. Team Rumble.
It's a much smaller map, and when you die, you respawn.
They've done this in like Call of Duty or somewhere.
Until like the last, like there's a certain point where you get down and then you don't respawn.
Right?
Anymore.
Yeah. This is Call of Duty.
Yeah.
By the way, just Painkiller in the chat pointed out the First Ascendant as a new release. Did either of you guys play it? I downloaded and played it for like 3 seconds and immediately deleted it.
What is it?
It's like a third-person loot shooter.
Oh.
But as soon as I saw it was like looked like Fortnite, but not. I was like, I don't need this in my life. Who needs this?
There.
I just assumed it was first person.
Speaking of looks like Fortnite, but not. How about this Apex Legend Battle Pass revisions? Have they walked this back yet? Because there's still time.
They posted basically that they're cutting the battle pass into 2, and you have to pay for it twice, basically.
At the same price.
Yeah, there's some. It's not like they made it cheaper. They just cut it. They made it 2 different products, and I don't. They're trying to explain.
Make it cheaper? That's weird.
No,
I thought that was the current trend.
No,
right.
I honestly, I don't buy the battle pass. It doesn't affect me at all. But there's obviously people who do, and the bigger change is that you're not earning the currency that lets you buy the battle pass from the currency that you earned in the previous season anymore.
Yeah.
Which is they took that away.
Like you could do with Fortnite,
right? And you used to be able to do it there, and so now you can't do that.
So
I'd like to remember to tell everybody that hey, all this sucks.
Yeah. We'll be talking about that. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a pretty crazy thing. I mean, it went from costing the in-game currency to costing cash. So now it's $10. Instead of it being 110 items, it's 60 items. It's not a full season, it's a half season, and each half season still costs the same $10. If they did half seasons for $5, I could see that being making sense in a way.
Right.
But that's not a half season. That's just a short season for the same amount of money.
Right. They basically They took away the ability to get the battle pass for free and then doubled the price of it, basically.
Yeah.
You know, they took away the ability to earn the battle pass from playing the previous season. The problem is, like, when you look at these types of drastic changes, like, it makes you think that the game is not doing that well, like, in terms of like the growth, like people playing the game. Like, usually, like, the numbers are going down, so they have to keep the revenue up. So how can we do it? We got to get like fucking spreadsheets and math involved. How can we, like, if we run, you know, we got to run the simulations on how we generate money now. And they figured out that this way we'll make more money. But they knew that it was so sketchy that then when they posted this thing, they literally wrote, we reserve the right to change this, like, based on your feedback. Like, they almost never, I mean, you throwing that on there just says, like, we have no confidence in this fucking thing, even though we're telling you, we're trying to sell you this bullshit that it's somehow better for you and a better value. But they will probably wind up walking it back. Again, like, they're not getting this money out of me anyway, selling the shit this way. Like, they have a better chance, the Fortnite method, where you put out a cool skin, you charge me $10 for it. That could work.
Maybe.
Maybe. In other price hiking news, Xbox Game Pass is getting the tiered treatments and price hikes and all this good stuff.
Thank God.
Thank God we didn't have a complicated enough chart for Game Pass, but now we do. Like, just like everything else, we can divide this up and tell you what you get in different tiers.
Everybody's main complaint about Xbox, I think, to this point was just it was too simple of a scheme for this stuff.
Right. They wanted the PlayStation method where you can't even remember what the tiers are called or what you're getting in every tier. But I guess the big change now is that in the highest tier, that's the only way you're going to get the day one releases, you know, the Call of Duties, the Microsoft published games, the Activision published games. And that's the most expensive tier. And they're raising the price.
Yeah.
And they're raising the price. So, and of course, people are not happy about it. You see people are posting.
Is this the time to do this?
When they're already taking out?
Yeah.
Well, when is a good time to do this?
I think the time to do this is maybe when you are launching something, like, or you have additional benefits that you are throwing in.
Not at the end of a console cycle?
Not at the end of a console cycle where you're trying to recoup costs from your Activision purchase.
When they said there's all these people tweeting out the quotes from Phil Spencer, like from 2 years ago, saying we're not raising the price of Game Pass because of this Activision.
The crazy thing, I was thinking about this today. Like, think about how many years video games were $50. That you could just go buy a video game for $50.
Mm-hmm.
It was like close to like 3 decades, right?
Yep.
At least, like somewhere in that realm.
You're talking about the age
like, people
where
are gonna say like, oh well, whatever. Some Super Nintendo games are like $80 or whatever. But
sure,
like games, the standard price for games for 3 decades, maybe more, was $50 per game. And now we can't even get it through a generation of subscription prices without hikes on subscription price.
Not just hikes, but like taking features of those passes and putting them behind it's another paywall, a different paywall.
But I mean, I don't think I've ever paid full price for Game Pass. So the real question is how is this going to affect CD keys or new egg deals or, you know, all of that? I mean, are those still going to exist? I mean, I got my last thing online I renewed through January because mine was about up and I paid about $10 a month.
It just screams to me, similar to what Chief was saying, it screams to me we're not making enough money and we're not concerned about attracting new customers.
Right. And they're not worried about people.
Which they're not, by the way, at this point in the console life cycle, right? Like, they know, like
who's going to spend $20 a month to play Call of Duty through the cloud on their Amazon Fire Stick? How many people are going to do that?
Oh, Speaking of that, Alex writes in, I bought a Fire Stick to try Xbox Live cloud gaming. Today, I dropped the Fire Stick off at UPS to return to Amazon. Cloud gaming is horrible, and I know it's different from remote play, but it's just not good at all.
I've been saying that for a while now. Cloud gaming is not fun for the most part.
Have you tried it with your...
It has its benefits in that if you want to demo or trial a game.
Sure.
Right?
Yes, sure.
Like I'm playing that whatever that Nickelodeon Super Smash Brothers thing is that just came to Game Pass. Plays fine for that on cloud. Like
if you don't want to, for something where you don't really care, but
where you don't really care, cloud's perfect.
But also, like it's not going to take too long to download that game at this point. At least on my connection, it's going to take like
it
5
still
minutes.
Takes longer than just hitting the like cloud button.
Sure.
Like it's like, oh, the kids want to play something. I don't really want to take the space up on my hard drive or the time on this. Here's SpongeBob.
Sure.
Like battle up against some Patrick or whoever else is in that game.
You're not going to be wanting to play the latest Call of Duty that way.
Right.
No,
but it is good. Like that's the prime way that I use the cloud gaming. It's like games are on Game Pass and you're like, I just want to see what this is actually like. And then like you play a little bit of it and then you make a decision of like,
will I download it?
With this, do I download it or not?
Yeah. Fair enough.
And most of the time it's like, no, I don't download it. And then I'm better off for just playing it on the cloud version.
But that doesn't help what Microsoft's trying to do with the Amazon Fire Stick version of cloud gaming.
No, it does not.
It does not help at all. What you're saying is the exact opposite of what they think people are going to do, which is spend $20 a month to play Call of Duty through their Amazon Fire TV stick streaming, so they could be like, "This sucks." I can't imagine how that's going to be really.
But then
playable.
They don't have to sell a console at a loss.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And it doesn't cost them any money probably to set this up either. But whatever.
Sure. And how like maybe in like a few years the latency would be low enough, for more people. In some places it probably works great. Like depending on if you have a wired connection and your internet setup, it could work really great. I mean, obviously
a wired connection on your Fire Stick.
Well, no, but this service, this Game Pass service, they have it like it's built into TVs. It's the same shit, right? It's like the same app. Mm-hmm. It's just an app. So like, I don't know if the LG has it, but some of the Samsung, I think, has it, right?
Samsung, I think, has it, yeah.
So it's just the same thing. So a lot of people plug their TVs in, I guess. I don't know.
It's a weird thing. I don't know what I think what they need is a yearly subscription model, not just a monthly one. $20 a month is a lot, but if you could get it for $150 a year, I think people would probably buy into that.
Also, they got rid of that?
They got rid of the yearly now too, or
there's never been yearly Ultimate.
6 months or something, or what are they?
Nope.
Nothing. 3?
Never. Nope.
1?
Yep.
Shit.
You could get 3 months of like regular Game Pass, but not Ultimate, I believe.
Oh, is that true?
I feel like I got a good deal on Ultimate at some point where
definitely I did that. We all did that. We all stacked up like some cheap months, but I don't know what the deal is now. Now I'm sure I'm getting raped. I'm sure I'm getting just auto renewed. I don't know where I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. It's the same monthly price as Corncob TV or whatever that on that.
Corncob. He finally got a hit on Corncob TV.
Yeah, exactly. But there was a yearly plan. I think that's sort of what's missing, and I think it would help.
But they don't want people when they raise the rates next time. They don't want people stacking up again. At the lower rates.
Yes, they do. They 100% do, because they want people to continue to have the service. And if you could really, basically, they're tricking you into thinking, "Oh, I better get the next 5 years of Game Pass in there." So before they raise the rates again, do you know who the big winner is?
Sure, they get a lot of cash up front. Sure, it can't hurt. It can't hurt.
Exactly. So why not have a yearly model? Why not have a yearly model where people might stack it because they're afraid the price might go up? It's just silly. It makes no sense. Even when I tweeted this out, the Matt Piscatella from Circana, He liked and retweeted my tweet when I said, why is there no
Nice.
yearly? So that's how I know I'm right. When the analysts agree.
I hate that they
It's just-
changed their name to Circana, by the way.
I know, me too.
Sounds like it sounds like a seafood restaurant.
I think it sounds like an insect. But
Nice.
yeah. But
All right.
NPD.
Anyway,
And another thing, like,
yeah.
couldn't Xbox just like announce all the bad moves at once and get them out of the way rather than like doing them every like 2 months? We get a new like.
They like to be in the news.
They had that really good whatever showcase like a
Right,
month
like announced it
ago.
before that. Like,
And then they go and screw it up by going, oh, by the way, we're raising the prices to, 20, because $20 a month. It's weird because $17 is still a lot, but it just doesn't sound as bad as 20.
Yeah. Whack. All right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention the Transformers Overwatch crossover that's happening right now that somebody alerted me of. I checked it out today. There's there's an Optimus Prime skin for Reinhardt, which I have to admit looks very good and seems to be extremely popular because I played 3 matches and there was a Optimus Prime Reinhardt on my team every time.
they get the Bumblebee in this one.
They got Bumblebee.
How about Megatron?
Megatron.
All right.
Keep going. There's 2 more.
RC.
Yep. And that
Starscream.
might be it actually.
Oh, okay.
That might be it. There's
No Optimus Primal.
No, just Optimus Prime. There's 20. What was it? $20, I think, per character. And
Whoa, per character.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you can get all of them for 60, I think. And Ty and so I didn't get any.
Games used to cost that much.
Yes, it's insane.
After they were the same price for 3 decades.
Yes, and now that gets you Transformers skins on your free-to-play game. Again, probably another example of a game whose player base is not going up, and they're trying to get creative with the revenue.
Which is weird when they could be figuring out ways to get their player base up instead of figuring out ways to milk whatever.
That ship sailed, I think, like 2 years ago when they forgot to update the game.
Yeah, that'll do it. There's a community note on the Apex Legend tweet.
Yeah.
About the Battle Pass system. And it says, readers added context they thought people might want to know. While Respawn claims this change is made through community feedback, it is obvious that this change is only profitable for EA shareholders. Consumers are forced to spend IRL currency instead of in-game Apex coins.
Yep. I'm an EA shareholder, so.
Yeah, so it works for you, sort of, maybe.
I think I am.
Yeah.
I don't think it's, you can't, when all the effort is going into how we can, use math to make more money off the game, it's not a good sign for anybody.
Here's what's interesting, because Fortnite does this too, right? It's this. I'm not gonna like put them on the pedestal and go here. They don't do this. They do this. They do this now that this season alone, they're doing it twice this season. Where there's the regular battle pass, which you could still get with V-Bucks, which is great. And that, 200 levels of, regular, not much has changed.
200 levels of crouching 25 times in 10 seconds.
25 times, but it's the same Fortnite. But that is what it is. That's the game. And it's the same game that's always been.
Ship is dying laughing right now. They
don't even care. Like one of the quests today is just like crouch X number of times. I forget how many.
It was 25 times in 10 seconds, I believe, right?
No,
or something. 10 times in 25 seconds.
10 times in 25 seconds. That was the quest. Is just
I will explain
clicking on the stick.
I will explain it to you why that's what
it's
joke
a psychological.
is.
Oh, it's a joke.
It's the joke of the quest. It's teabagging.
Well, I know what teabagging is, but like that's the
joke.
The joke is that you're teabagging for that particular
That's
quest.
not appropriate.
Because it's the sweaty summer quest. They're all supposed to be like related to things you do in competitive being overly.
Wait, are you saying that Fortnite wants us to think of sweaty testicles during this event?
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Not sure.
But anyway, yes, there was a teabag quest, which is supposed to be funny. But they also, as I was saying, instead of making, we're going to cut the pass in half and do this, they added the 2 mini passes where there's the festival pass, which has the Metallica thing. And then there's going to be the Pirates of the Caribbean pass that comes out next week. That also costs another 1,000 V-Bucks.
Passes.
Don't
Fucking
forget
passes.
about the Lego pass.
And a Lego pass, yeah.
And
I forgot that
and
Fast pass.
The other pass. What is the other pass?
Easy pass.
The one that's on the far right every time.
The Metallica one?
No. The
Tucker Carlson pass.
You're in the club pass or whatever.
The crew
pass. Yes,
yeah.
all of these are available.
Well, crew is
for
the
you.
Subscription thing. Yeah, exactly. There are all these things. Like here's this, or you could do this, or you could just get the battle pass and be perfectly fine. Which is what I've done. Like the last 4 seasons, I've gotten. Although, yeah, I'm trying to think. The last time I got I got Shredder, so I guess not last season, but the one before it. But I have never gotten a festival pass yet. I didn't get.
I wouldn't even know what to do with it.
Yeah, I haven't gotten those. I have yet to get a Lego pass, but I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I'm perfectly happy with the pass I have. I may do Pirates. I may not. I haven't decided yet. I'm on the fence. I'll see how I feel when it comes out. But and if I feel like doing the grind for it. But
you do.
I like Pirates. I don't love Pirates, but I do kind of like the skeleton skin. So I'm like, whatever. It's my V-Bucks. I can do whatever the hell I want with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't V-shame him, Chip.
Seriously. I'm an adult.
I won't. Yeah, no, I'm not shaming you at all. It's just
and
it's hard to not be depressed a little bit that this is
where we are now.
This is where we
But this is exactly this is where we are. But again, all of these other games are just trying to copy what this game did successfully because this game makes it feel like, oh no, this isn't something in addition to what you already have. This is premium. Here's a premium add-on to this thing you already have. You don't need to have it, but if you want the premium thing, here it is, which I feel like goes down a little bit easier. And I get that's probably why you see so many Optimus Primes in Overwatch, I guess, because again, they're making it feel like here's a premium thing in addition to what you may already have, as opposed to Apex, who's saying, oh, you know that thing you have? Yeah, we're going to cut it in half. We're going to charge you double, and you can no longer cash in your in-game currency that you've stocked up to use for it anymore. And that's sort of weirdly the opposite of the way they should be going.
Right. They need some fucking Transformers in Apex. What are we doing?
Or something like something
get
where it's
a
like
spike in there.
The old pass is staying the same way it was, but we're going to add in, 2 mini passes per season that cost $10 in real currency each, in real dollars each.
Fuck all these currencies. Fuck all these free-to-play games. Why don't you just make a game and charge $100? Why don't we just say all games are $100? Not all games,
because they tried that and people don't buy them.
It's because everybody's playing Fortnite.
Yeah, and they are. You could see it. People are playing Fortnite and they're playing Modern Warfare. Call of Duty.
Let's go to the CAG bag because this is going to continue the discussion in the CAG bag. Adam writes in. He says, if you had full control over the games industry to get it back to an exciting era, what kind of strategy would you use? For example, I would make less games that use battle passes and more games that require quarters. I get what you're saying there. I got to say, like, battle passes, these currencies, these fucking virtual currencies have altered games in a way that, like, they just cannot recover from because, I mean, the big games, right? Indie, smaller games, those games will continue to be made. But in terms of like big companies making games, they are, for the most part, going for these moonshots like Fortnite or free-to-play shots.
I think I still think there is room for a balance there.
There is, but the executives, I don't know, they make bad decisions. They're not gamers. I don't know what like the guys at Warner Brothers are doing. They're just not gamers. They're like businessmen.
That same Warner Brothers that the year before that had the best-selling game of the year. They had the best-selling game of 2023, and they followed that up with one of the biggest bombs in gaming history.
And to go to show you how they don't know what they're doing, they had like one of the biggest games of that year, and almost no additional content for it, just like a smattering of fucking lame ass skins.
It didn't need it. Did it need it?
They could have sold. I mean, I'm just saying it didn't need it. But like, if the goal of these big companies is to monetize the games up the ass, at least we could do it in a smart way that's more accepted than fucking battle passes and virtual currency and just trying to like, engineer us out of our money. Like, more content that is substantial, people see value in that. Like, for example, in the Harry Potter game, they had the whole Quidditch thing in the game. Like, you could fly around the arena. Clearly, like, there was an effort to make Quidditch there. Like, if they had that as an add-on for the game, people would have paid money for it. But instead, they decided to make like a cell phone Quidditch game. I don't know if that game came out, what the deal is. But that was like a thing. I think it's a PC Quidditch game, like separate. I don't know.
I think that's still coming.
Still coming. It could have been out now, and they could have charged the biggest selling game. They sold like how many? 15 million copies? I don't know, more probably. They could have sold Quidditch to those people and for $30, and people would felt good about it.
I don't know if those people would have bought it. That's what I'm saying.
Or as a standalone game, like back in the day when you sold a game for money.
Because I think the people that bought that game just wanted a game that they could play and finish and move on. And
it was a good game though. Like, it was pretty good. Like, it was a good old fashioned single player adventure. Like,
and you make a sequel, or you
make more content, like Elder Scrolls.
That style of game, and you just make another one with a different license that's also popular, as opposed to Suicide Squad that no one wanted to play. Maybe another Lord of the Rings game. Don't they still have? Isn't that their license too?
Yeah.
Or Game of Thrones, or anything else that was DC Comics other than Suicide Squad. I mean, they have all of these licenses where they could just take that existing game, slap a new coat of paint on it, and put that out for $60, and it would probably sell well as long as it plays well, looks nice, and has that same depth of game. It would be fine. And, they made some good Lord of the Rings games back in the day, and then they just stopped making them. Those were good games.
They made a Gollum one.
The movie stopped coming out.
Yeah. So what?
They made that Amazon series.
So did the Harry Potter movies.
Is that Amazon series coming back?
Which one?
Or the Lord of the Rings Amazon series. They made it was like a couple years ago. It was like the most expensive series ever or something.
Harry Potter has more staying power though, because kids are still like, getting the books, right? They're still doing the books. They're still watching the movies.
They're buying the shit at the amusement park.
Right. Like Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I'm going to make my kids watch them, but they're not like beating down the door to like, hey, let's read the Lord of the Rings books. And like, it's a little bit older in the game. You don't onboard the youth as quickly.
No, it is definitely not. No, it took Elliot a long time to get into Lord of the Rings. Like this year, he didn't care about Lord of the Rings until this year. So nice. I'm just saying
it's hard to say, just do this with a franchise that is less popular than Harry Potter.
Right.
Like it's hard to completely say that. Like it's one of the most popular franchises in the world.
Do you think Warner Brothers now,
last 30 years or
do you think Warner Brothers is saying, how can we take Harry Potter and combine it with this fucking failed Suicide Squad engine that we just spent $150 million? No, you don't think they're doing that?
No.
I mean, it could work. Like Harry Potter, those guys fly around. They're flying around in the Suicide Squad game. No. Guns, no guns though in Harry Potter.
Nobody knows what they do in that Suicide Squad game.
You just run around and shoot.
That poor game. I feel bad. I do feel bad because I don't think anyone wanted to. I don't think
because they wasted so much time and money and people's energy.
I guess you could kind of feel bad, but people are getting paid to make that game,
right?
I guess.
Like there's no reason to feel bad about that. Like everybody in the room, nobody spoke up that like this is not what people want. Like nowhere.
I'm sure people spoke up.
Or that other Batman game, that we played some of, that they kill Batman in the first cutscene. And then you play as non-Batman characters, whatever that was, Gotham.
Oh, Arkham Knights. Yeah, same concept.
Yeah. What are we doing?
I don't know. All people want to do is play as Batman. Everyone knows that. Just let me play as Batman. It's like, oh, look at these guys. They're great. They have all the powers of Batman without being Batman.
Without being as cool as Batman. Sounds great.
I mean, Arkham Knight is funny because like each one of these characters.
That's not the name. That can't be the name of that game.
It's Gotham
right?
Knights.
It's Gotham Knights. Gotta be.
Gotham Knights. Sorry, Arkham Knight I think is a comic book. Gotham Knights. It's like each one of these characters has a skill that Batman has, but a different Batman skill, as opposed to there just being one Batman that has all the skills.
That's much more fun.
Yeah, which is exactly dumb.
Yeah,
dumb.
Yeah. These guys, I just feel like Warner Brothers specifically just makes bad decisions.
They do make bad.
If I was like an investor there, I'd be like, hire some guys that have played video games before. Maybe there's plenty of them out there who are competent businessmen, I'm sure.
And multiverses. Don't forget that one.
Dude, what the fuck is that shit? If you can't find a guy to impersonate Shaggy, what are you even doing? Don't make the game at that point. Don't put him in the game. Like, so bad. But it made the top 10 on the Circana list, but it was low on the list. Yeah, that game sucks. All right, anything else in the CAG bag? Ian writes in, he wants to know if Shipper Wombat will be playing College Football 25 or Madden 25. Which one first? And will anyone be playing both?
I plan on at least getting my 10 hours out of both of them with the EA Play and Game Pass.
Got to be in that top tier, though, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure EA Play is going to the top tier of Game Pass.
I'm sure. Right? Well, I mean, college football comes out like next week, so I'll play that next week when it comes out, as long as I get my 10 hours.
Yeah, I'll at least try college football just as a novelty at best, because it's been over a decade.
I'm excited for college football. I get to make my team, and
I'm interested to see how different it feels than Madden at this.
Me too.
At this point, because they definitely felt
a lot
different
of Madden
back in the day. I mean, mainly it was the lateral, right? Like that was the big difference.
There were more trick plays in the college one.
Right. It was like the college one was you lateraled a bunch. That was the difference.
Right.
And it was fun to have all the different teams and do your seasons and
play as just mascots. Oh.
Right. Nice. It'll be interesting to see how this one, now that college football players are getting paid, I don't know, which is good. I think they should for their likenesses in these games, but how that like works, if it's going to get like very transactional heavy with playing cards and stuff.
It's going to be weird how that works in this too, because it's not like I know who pros are. I don't know who many college football players are, nor do I care that much about.
It's all the old pros' sons.
Yeah, right. It's like,
so you know that.
Don't they have to pay the guys now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now
not
get
much,
ready.
Not much.
Okay. I was going to say get ready for more microtransactions. If so,
yeah, exactly. But I'm not sure how much it matters. Like who's on my.
Well, Peyton Manning's son just finally signed on. He was like holding out.
That's funny.
Of being in the game, but then he's just signed on like today.
Yeah. Rob PT 45 writes in, needs strategy advice from Shipwreck on these liquidation/bin shops where the price of the stuff in the bins drops every day. One just opened near him.
Wash your hands afterwards.
bring the alcohol wipes with you.
Yeah. I don't
wear gloves.
I mean, if you have no idea what you want to buy and you have disposable income and you like bending over,
sifting through shit.
If you want things that people return to Amazon,
which is fine. I'm good with some of those things, but it's really hit or miss, right? Like, I don't know. Go for it to have the experience at least once in your life. You might find something that you're like, oh, I needed this specific screwdriver set, or I don't know, this record player that doesn't quite work right.
Yeah, I would check a place out like that once at least.
There's one right by my house.
Experience.
What's it called?
It's an experience.
I have no idea what it's called.
What's the one like?
I don't know the name of it.
Shitbox.
It's literally across the street from the good gas station, but I have no idea what it's called.
Dumpster diver.
I could get there in 4 minutes.
Nice. So, well, you may have to report for us so we can learn more about this.
I went there once with Elliot and we left, and he said, "We're never going back there again." And I said, "Okay."
Why?
I'm sure that's where the. Oh, good. Why are you never going back there again?
Because he didn't. It was kind of gross.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You want some.
How is
You're
it
gonna
gross?
come out of that place like it's just you come out with like a film on your hands and
Ew,
everything.
why?
Like, you're like, because you're just like sifting through all of this stuff that's been shifted everywhere, like shipped everywhere, and
Right.
then other people are like handling it, and it's a warehouse environment. And it's just like I don't know. It's not all that.
Wear gloves and a mask.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but
I
I'm
like
sure that's where my recent we bought Dash a Fortnite Switch case. It looks like Peely, and it came with an exclusive I don't know, whatever the skin, the wraps are,
a weapon wrap.
or weapon wrap, or
Sweet.
but then we opened it up, and of course that had already been stolen out of it, and so we had to
Sweet.
return that one to Amazon to get another one that actually had the thing. So I'm sure that one is going to end up in a bin.
Some
somewhere.
disappointed kid with dirty hands is
Like
gonna grab that.
It's so frequent that we get that stuff now.
Mhm.
Just like you order something and it's just like, oh, this has clearly been opened up and somebody's taken something out of, and now we have to return it.
From Amazon?
Yes.
I never get that. Weird.
Yeah.
What
It's
what
like-
kind of stuff?
It's
Besides the Peely thing.
Well,
It's
I told
because
you
you're-
like, last year, the year before.
Oh,
like,
yeah, the
all those-
scam.
all
The
those smart
scam.
switches.
That was
Yeah,
a
all those
scam,
smart
though. That was
switches
some
that-
sort of fucking
It had
scam.
the baby wipes instead of. Well, that's what it is. It's people like just buying stuff, taking what they want out, and either returning.
They put it back on
It-
the shelf and sell it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they do it by weight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Huh.
They don't open the package. They just weigh it and go, "Oh, this is way." It's all done automatically. It's not. There's no
Right,
human
right.
being.
Shit. I haven't experienced that yet.
You will. Don't
Sweet.
worry.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why when we got Sabrina a new laptop, we did not get it through Amazon.
Right. I think that's I legitimately think that's a big reason why these liquidation bin shops are a thing, because once somebody returns it back to Amazon the second time, Amazon's like, I don't know what to
Fuck,
do
Right.
with this. Like,
Sell it by
and they
weight.
sell it to these places, and then somebody who wants the Nintendo Switch case but doesn't care about the code
gets a
gets it
great
for
deal.
like pennies.
$1. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like, it's funding a whole nother business because everybody's stealing all this stuff from Amazon.
Fraud.
Yes.
Sweet.
Mhm.
People are assholes.
All you need to do is set up an offshore account with a fake LLC, and then you can continue to do that. And the only way Amazon could prosecute you is through extradition, and that's how they get away with it.
Sure know a lot about this, Wombat.
I literally watched a video on it this afternoon.
How to?
Yeah,
Trying to start a new
basically.
side hustle?
No, just
he was pausing it a lot to take notes.
it's a video about it's a video about a guy who bought pothole stuff to fix the potholes in his town, and because basically Amazon doesn't pay taxes, he wanted to stick it to the man, so he bought the pothole fixers through Amazon, fixed the potholes himself, filled the boxes with sand, shipped them back. So basically, Amazon paid to fix all the potholes
But
in
he
the town.
stole the equipment from them.
But he stole the equipment through him. But he won't get prosecuted because he set everything up through an offshore account, and it would require extradition to, I think it was like Belize, in order for Amazon to do anything. But they're not going to do anything because they're not going to go through the hassle of suing a company in Belize to extradite someone from, and it was like 3 countries over. Like they would literally
why go through all this trouble to fix the potholes?
Well, because
He
Amazon
wanted to
doesn't pay
teach
tax.
Amazon a
Not a
lesson,
lesson, yeah.
but so he stole money from them.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mhm.
I don't think they learned their lesson, by the way. I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to guess they learned nothing.
I'm sure.
Because it's affected them.
Prime Day is still happening.
Mhm.
Prime Day is not canceled.
Oh my God.
I mean, I just, but it's just
It's
funny
funny.
that this came up today and I watched a video about it this afternoon. So maybe I said too much. I do not condone the
Right.
practice.
Fair enough. All
I'm
right.
just saying I saw
Yes,
it. It was
you
like a
watched the
Vice
video.
thing. It was a Vice thing.
All right. We've done too much show. This is like almost as long as Beverly Hills Cop 2.
All
4.
right.
Was that 4? Beverly Hills Cop 4? Or was that the third one? The fourth
yeah, there
one?
was a third one. Yeah, there was a fourth.
The third one is the one with the tall blonde or the tall
No,
chick?
no, that's
the second one?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the third one.
Third one is terrible. It came out in the 90s. You
Right.
may
They reference
not
it in the
seen
movie.
it.
They reference how
Yes.
bad it is in the movie, actually,
Yes, they do.
which is the only interesting, the only clever part of the movie.
Yes, it might be the joke I laughed at.
All right. We've done enough show. We've said it all. We'll see you next time.
Bread's done.